Thursday Night Football, first game up on the slate. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. From our perspective, modeling standpoint, we make this number 6, a slight edge favoring the Cowboys here, but not enough for it to be a play here. But Seth, I want to start with kick it off to you here. Thursday night matchups, have historically just that kind of ick vibe to them. Most of them just aren't good games. Are you expecting a similar kind of vibe with this one here, or what's something you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true for Thursday night. I really don't know what to make of this game. It's really tricky. I mean, the market has bought this since open, kind of agreeing with us here. The market right now is sitting at 5.5. We make the number 6. The question I have here, I have questions for both of these teams. They're both very perplexing, to be honest with you. Dallas right now, we're looking at the 23rd overall pass EPA team, 13th rushing EPA team. The Giants, on the other hand, are kind of a little bit more of who we thought they were. 20th in the pass, 21st against the rush. But the Dallas Cowboys defense is probably the most perplexing to me. Dallas's defense, 14th against the pass. Okay, that's probably maybe where we'd put them, maybe top 10. The rush, they're the worst in the league against the run. They're 32nd out of 32 teams. That is not what we think about when we think about the Dallas Cowboys, and they have struggled defensively. The questions I have on New York, though, are who are they? We saw them have a little bit of success against Washington, but it's kind of coming into a little bit of a lens right now that Washington's defense is really what's struggling and their offense is really good. So how impressive is that? And then they obviously beat up on the Browns, but what do we do with that? So I don't know. This is a really interesting team, really interesting game to me. I don't know what to make of it. I think it could stink to high hell, but that being said, New York's gotten beat the hell out of by Dallas the last 2 years. So I gotta imagine this has been circled that like, hey, we gotta at least get like a first down and like a 3 and out, or at least once in this game. Let's start with that.
Right.
If I was the Giants, I'd be kind of like nervous just to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Yes. And Steve, to Seth's point, kind of middle of the road, the Cowboys are in terms of defending the pass, but they're third worst in the league so far through 3 weeks in havoc plays on defense. So any play that results in a sack, negative yardage, tackle for loss, pass deflection. And to Seth's point too, like that is not who we've kind of come to know the Dallas defense being over the past couple of years. So yeah, as you kind of digest all this, I mean, is there any angle here that you're thinking of that might even be worth taking from a betting perspective personally, or for anyone else listening?
I don't know, man. This is going to be a good old fashioned suck off. No Diddy. These two teams are just bad, man. They're bad. I mean, Seth, you already talked about the ranks and whatnot, but I want to reiterate, these two teams both have negative offensive EPAs. Okay. They're both running and passing the ball. And we talked about on this podcast last week, the matchup against the Ravens, where this was Dak's chance to get right. We saw Baltimore EPA per play. They struggle against the pass. This was a get right game for Dak. And through 3 quarters, he did absolutely nothing. And I'm not ready to say that he's turned a corner. He did have a hell of a 4th quarter. But again, we know the Ravens pass defense is bad. And we know the Ravens blow 7-point leads in the 4th quarter. Death, taxes, and Ravens are blowing the lead late in the game. So I don't know how much of that I'm ready to say this on the Cowboys here. And then on the other hand, I do want to be a little bit fair. We talk about the Cowboys defense and how they have the worst rushing defense in the league, and how we saw the Ravens, we predicted the Ravens going to carve them up. But if we want to be fair here, Devin Singletary is not Derrick Henry. Devin Singletary is not Lamar Jackson running the ball. And New York's pass defense is even worse than the Ravens is. So Dallas should have a better time here. I think -4 is fair. The market has some confidence pushing up to -5.5. But I mean, this is a classic Thursday night game. Like, I don't want to watch it. I'd rather watch baseball. Like, this is gonna suck.
Damn. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but I mean, to your point though, is it like I agree with a really important point you made there. Like, okay, you could kind of like conceptualize if you don't look at the data, like, oh, this is the game Dak gets right. I'm not sure about that. 23rd right now passing the ball, going against the 15th best pass defense. Like, this isn't necessarily the recipe for Dak to get right. I don't know. If you have to bet this game, I think you have to like just be a contrarian. You have to bet New York because there's more variance in New York on what you're getting. We've seen fits and starts, at least. have we seen that from Dallas? Dallas, shout out Cowboys fans. Like, I guess the worst thing actually is you not winning at all versus the Cowboy cycle of life. I think they'd probably rather be in the cycle of life right now. If you have, I think if you got to have actions, unfortunately, I think you have to take New York. There's just more advantage there.
Yeah, and I think you also have to look. I mean, it's I haven't seen any player props post stuff yet, but you got to take a real hard look at these rushing props for Giants. I mean, again, we saw Baltimore put up 274 yards on the ground against the Cowboys. I'm not saying that Giants are anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I would definitely be looking at, shout out Unabated with their player prop simulators. I'm definitely looking at variances on these Singletary rushing props, things like that, and see what the lines are, see if there's some value there, because this defense is absolutely trash.
Yeah, even scrambles for Jones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that over-under is going to be right around 12, 15-ish. You only have to bust off one. I mean, they're struggling. Dallas is struggling. And it's exacerbated when you want to be Super Bowl every year. When you start this kind of slow, it feels like the house is more on fire than I think most teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so props have posted definitely for the Thursday night game. So just real quick to tie this point off. So rushing attempts, Devin Singletary, his over under is 14.5. Jones is at 6.5. And then we talked about rushing yards, right? Maybe that's a potential angle. Jones 31.5 is his over under, and Singletary is at 60.5. So interesting. I don't know. Something to think about.
I would go look at some scrambles. It's what have other quarterbacks done? You know, to your point, you talked about havoc, Kevin. I mean, this is something that when we first started out, there's like the classic SP plus like stats, like explosiveness and havoc. Those are two like big variables everyone kind of talks about. We built these out, we tested these, not predictive. And you know, my theory on why they're not predictive is because they're literally variables of variance. It's just how often can you count on getting a sack? It's not something you can just like hang your hat on. How often can you hang your hat on a 80-yard bomb? You can't. So it shows up in the stat line and the stat like, oh, look at all these explosives, but it's really difficult to actually say, okay, well, this team is going to be good for X amount of explosives or X amount of havoc. Like it just doesn't pan out. So I'm not surprised to see a team that's had a lot of it all of a sudden go to like a spell of dry, because it's really difficult to maintain that.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm for me, you know, unless there's something catches my eye on the prop line. Right now it hasn't. I'm kind of staying away for it, and I'm just kind of to your point, Steve. I'm gonna be waiting for the weekend to get here. So get through this Thursday night game and onto the real slate. But I don't know, Cowboys fans, is it your year still? Let us know in the comments if you're here. Do you guys take this game? Or Seth, go ahead.
Oh no, you finish your
Yep.
finish your
Okay.
thought there.
So because I don't know, I'm kind of leaning towards you guys though. I think probably the better play in terms of value is going to be on the Giants to lay the points. But let us know what you guys think in the comments, because this one I could go either way with it. Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah. Free play for all you college people that aren't wanting to watch this. We have a play in college. We're on maybe this is even grosser. We're on Temple plus 13. So if you want to watch that's what we're on. Temple plus 13 versus Army. I'm sure that'll be a real barn burner. Maybe
the real sickos.
Yeah. That's where my time is going to be spent. So if you want to come sweat that with us, go look up that, because that's going to be, I don't even know, that's going to be on like WBN or something.